and seven Ziles. Daddy. Papa. Guys, seven Zile's father. No, seven Zile. Yo, daddy. Listen. Daddy. Okay. Okay. I've got it out of my system. I hope I have. I might not have. Hey. But like that was the star of the scene. Everything else that was happening, not so important. We're going to see, but this is just, it's a minefield. It's just a mess. Woo! What form of communication is this and where did you learn it? Please tell me. Let me get off Tammy's ass because today, as I said, Omo, here, here. Guys, what's above a red flag? What's beyond? King, magenta. What color does the flag have to be? Because this level, girl, if you like it, I love it. Re you're happy. Who are we? But I guess here we are talking about it because ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, the one friend even said, Impundu injani. Guys, let me just get off. Let's call it a day with this episode. I'm calling it a day. I can't. The tea that's supposed to be calming me. Nkarian Reva. What are we willing to give up and sacrifice and put up at the altar of I'm making entertainment so that I can be famous? Is this it? Is this really it, guys? Is this really it? Hello, guys, and welcome to Rachadi's View with me, Rachadi Watsona, and I give you my view on reality. And I have just sat here in the middle of the night, while it's a makeshift light to just get this out because I cannot believe what I have just seen in front of my eyes on the television. So this is Married at First Sight, Episode 8 review. And you know what? I think this is going to be a rant more than a review because what really, really, where things hold a soft spot for me is when it comes to children and old people. And what I just saw on Episode 8 and what was done to Tammy's daughter in front of cameras for television is what made me kepakise, pajama or no pajama, work or no work, and come and do this review. Because what were we just looking at? And listen, I'm going to try and go in order, but maybe let's just start with the burning issue first. So this is Episode 8. A lot of stuff happened in the beginning. I'll come back to it. But essentially, where things went very left for me is that Sitobile now is throwing a birthday dinner for Utami. He's turning 35. So she sets up a whole thing outside. It looks like it's the bottom of their apartments. And maybe they brought in caterers. It looks like, I don't know, like a clubhouse makeshift picnic garden thing that they try to do after hours at night. But fine. So Zitobile is telling us how she has planned this with Tammy in terms of the guest list and who's coming and who was cut, who doesn't get to come, the other participants of Married at First Sight, the guys are getting to come because those are his friends. And Tammy was very adamant that the women are not invited because they are not his friends. So fine. As far as Toby was concerned, it's Tammy's friends that he approved, and then the guys from the experiment who are participating. So two of Tammy's friends walk in. She meets them for the first time. It's great. They both have very long and complicated names. She says she's going to learn them over time. They sit down. The guy, one of the guys, the vendor guy, what did he say we must call him? Bayobo. I don't remember his name. I think it's Mushabayo, but I can't remember. Anyway, the vendor guy. He makes a comment that, if Tammy was this desperate for for a mate, he should have just told him and he could have gone to Venda and gotten him a very nice, respectful girl. Zitobile tries to be polite, but you can see her face is like, what? Like, why are you saying this to me? Also, why are you saying that to her? Hey, this Venda guy is just letting down the Venda squad, Jehovah. But here we are. Tammy then approaches, and with him in tow is his daughter, Owenkosi. Beautiful little girl, very bubbly, very vivacious. She comes in, and clearly Zitobile was not aware that Tammy was bringing his daughter, which for me was like, why could you not have told her that you're bringing your daughter here? Number one. Number two, it's late, guys. These people, you obviously all, I think, I'm seeing if you're having this at night. So, bedtimes, what's happening? Zitobile does say in her diary entry that like she didn't know the daughter was coming, but she's going to try and be flexible and roll with the punches. Obviously, she can't put on a stank face. She can't be asking questions right now because there's this little girl here that she's meeting for the first time. And Zitobile even says it would have been great if we were meeting for the first time in a different scenario and setup where it's not festivities for birthday parties. And this is why, for me, Tammy, wabona, today you and I gonna have a problem. Because I don't know if it's your thirst for notoriety and fame, or if indeed there is the invisible hand of a producer here. But I honale aftertaste, yeah, producer producing with this particular scene. Because if the goal was to make entertainment, to catch Zitobile off guard and see what we're going to get at the expense of your daughter, why is this girl here at an adult party in the middle of the evening on what I presume is a weekday? Even if it's not, evening time, people are going to be drinking. Why is this little girl here? Why is today, and I know it's your birthday celebration, but like you couldn't have celebrated with her in another setting. Never mind paving the way for that little girl to feel a little bit less awkward by maybe just saying, come and meet Uzitobile. Then when Tammy and Zitobile and Owenkosi, the daughter, sit at the table, Zitobile asks her, do you know who I am? Daughter says, I have no idea. Zitobile looks over at Tammy like, you haven't told this child anything about me. No, she doesn't know who you are. Doesn't even know Zitobile's name. Tammy, what form of communication is this and where did you learn it? Please tell me. Please tell me. Because are you really, really, honestly and truly moving this way in your life? Or are you doing this for TV? And either of those responses, whichever option it is, for me, what about the child? What about this child? Like, don't tell her anything. Just throw her in the middle of this lights, camera, action with no information. And poor child is trying to smile and be polite, doesn't know what's going on. And there's her father not even throwing her a lifeline with information. Because all of a sudden, Zitobile, you must explain yourself and tell her who you are. What? What? I try because I want things like this and watching these shows to be educational and informational. But sometimes people then be coming out here and just be on some nigger shit. Your child, guys. Your child should not be used for the purposes of entertainment like this. Not like this. Not like this, not like this. And I don't know who was deciding, "Ko Motswako, yeah, let's make a scene." If it was you, Tammy, if it's the producers as well in the background. But guys, I did not enjoy that. I did not like that. I felt uncomfortable on behalf of this child. Then at the end of the evening, Tammy's going to give a speech where he thanks everybody for coming, thanks his beautiful wife for being here, and doesn't thank his daughter. And then the camera pans over to the daughter's face, and you can just see her crushed that her father didn't even mention her in his speech of thanks. What are we doing? What are we willing to give up and sacrifice and put up at the altar of I'm making entertainment so that I can be famous? Is this it? Is this really it, guys? Is this really it? And listen, I'm always willing to be wrong. Maybe I don't have all of the information, but I am just going on what I saw. And what I saw was not pleasing. This is not what we should be doing to children just because we want to make TV and be on the big TV screen and lights, camera, action and push our singing careers and whatever other ambitions we have in our life. That was so uncomfortable to watch. Tammy offering no protection, no coverage for your child, offering the exact same zero protection and coverage for your alleged wife. Married at first sight. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, no, that got me riling. That got me boiling. I don't know if you have your own thoughts. Leave it in the comment section and let me know. Now we can move on to the rest of what was happening. So let's just finish off this dinner. The other guys arrive, the other guys from the experience who are participating. Tammy's vendor friend continues to embarrass and debase himself some more by offering his opinions. Not that like you can't, you know what, everybody must have their opinions, but like some people just, these are not, were these friends also chosen specifically and categorically because batlo tell petrol and they're going to be spicy for TV? Or is this friend, this vendor friend of yours, Tammy, like actually walking around saying things like this in the way that he says them? But maybe it makes sense because that vendor friend also lacks an awareness of others that I think Tammy also lacks and shares. So perhaps maybe that's where, you know, the common mutual point of connection is, I could say. But vendor friend reiterates then his comment once again that, you know, this is completely unnatural. People should not be getting married without doing lobola first. As he said, they're canceling culture. And then tells Tammy that, you know, or tells the other guys from the experiment that he can go and get Tammy a great vendor wife from the rurals who's very respectful and can make a fire, saying all of these things in front of Zitobile. Really? For TV. But I guess here we are talking about it because ridiculous. Ridiculous. Anyway, the other guys from the experiment, you know, they cut away into a diary session talking about the three of them, Tabang, Kuzo, and Sebenzile. You know, about how they're sort of feeling the pressure now to have money for damages, have money for lobola, and Vulumlomo and all the other things that they hadn't really budgeted for. Which for me then tells me the reality of the, well, I actually now might really be marrying somebody is starting to sink in because, you know, Mzansi Magic tells us that these people are already married, allegedly. But now the reality is starting to sink in because every other person is also just like, guys, where's the lobola here? What are we doing? It's not working out. So we're going to backtrack to the scenes that happened. So the theme of this episode was essentially Sebenzile, Witepo, Tammy, and Zitobile were meeting. Their families were meeting. So we'll start with the shorter of the two, which is Bitepo and Sebenzile. Bitepo starts off by meeting with her aunt, who she calls her mother, and basically raised her, I think, since the passing of her mom. To tell the aunt that, listen, I've gotten married and now I've been living with somebody for 6 weeks, and please don't go home on Friday and go back to Mahikeng because I need you to stay in Joburg to come and meet the family. Aunt was shocked, because aunt's first thought was that she was pregnant. So, she was like, oh, when you're not pregnant, okay, it can't be that bad. And then, actually, I'm married. And so the aunt was very shocked in the beginning, but then you could see she decided to be supportive and was like, cool, I will be there, let me know. Then the day comes, Sevenzile and Buitepo's family come to the apartment. Buitepo has her aunt, who she informed, and another aunt who is her cousin, Buipelo. Buipelo was the cousin who actually attended the wedding. So Buipelo's mother also came. And like, guys, now I don't want to disrespect Batwaba Holune on TV. I really don't. But for me, like auntie, that dress, the cleavage that was just falling out was making me uncomfortable through the screen. And like, listen, they're great. They're great. But just for a first time meeting people, they were falling out. It was too much for me. It was too much for me, personally. Um, and then Sebenzile's family comes in, and Sebenzile's daddy, Papa, Hottie Scalotti. That was a very nice surprise. Oh, let me grab my tea. Get my libation for my throat. Guys, Sebenzile's father. Yo. And I don't know how old he is, but he looks like young. Looking good for his age. Like he looks like a good early 40s hottie. You. I don't even want to know the women of South Africa, especially Babas Nangwo, Basatsibing Mudim. Hey, what sorts of missions they are going to be on to track this man down. That I will just continue to comment through the screens on the internet. But baby, that man should not have been put on television for us to see how he exists and oteng. Because now that some people know, no, Sebenzile, yo daddy, listen, daddy. Okay. I've got it out of my system. I hope I have. I might not have. Hey, but like that was the star of the scene. Everything else that was happening, not so important. I mean, it was just yay. We happy to meet each other. Sevenzile's dad makes the comment that, his mother, Sevenzile's mother, used to ask the dad all the time if he hasn't met a girlfriend and is Sevenzile gay or not. What let's say him, guys. Lot of whisperings about people's sexuality on this show. That just leaves me perplexed. But dad was like, no, he never met a girl, but I don't think he thought that he was gay. And so this is the first time that they're meeting anybody in Sevenzile's life. So they're all shocked. But for now, they seem to be happy. They close off their lunch with a prayer. And we're going to see how things go. Buitepo said her dad is not about being in front of the camera, so he wasn't going to participate at all in any of this. So she said she will have to meet her dad together with Sebenzile outside of the experiment in the cameras with Labon. Then the other couple is that Sitobile is cooking for Tammy's family. We start off with Sitobile, talk about how Utsurikiti nerves a little bit because, she's cooking for 15 people. And in the morning, Tammy had said it was 10 people. And now while she's getting prepped, it's 15 people. So she's feeling pretty nervous about this because, she's cooking for a lot of people. Things keep on changing. Tammy walks through the door with the meat. Sevenzila's cooking in the kitchen. Her mother's there to help her. And now Tammy's telling her that it's actually 20 people who are coming. And Zitobile is just like, what? How many people are coming? Then Tammy with his gaslighting ass. Oh, today. Go Tammy, you are here. Wait, you can't see with my nails. Here. Go mo. Tammy with his gaslighting ass is just like, why is Tobile so upset in his diary session? She's complaining about everything. Subtext, she's trying to ruin the day. This man, you told her in the morning that 10 people were coming. Then you changed it to 15 in the afternoon. By the time she's cooking, pots were on the stove. By the time utlisa nama, that's when you're telling her now it's 20 people. You're not cooking any of this food, nothing. And now you are upset that she's upset that there are 20 people, there are 5 more people that are coming that you didn't tell her about. Like, she's already nervous that she's going to be meeting your family. She's already nervous, I'm sure, from the morning to find out that there were 10 as opposed to her one person who's standing there. Like, bruh, the lack of awareness of others. Tammy's self-centeredness and selfishness is just coming out. Ke kala e nngwe e tswang gona jaanong. And he can't even hide it if he tries. And Zitobile Gill, it's up to you, but guys, what's above a red flag? What's beyond? King, magenta. What color does the flag have to be? Because this level of self-centeredness and absolutely no idea why she's so upset. And Tobile wasn't even that upset. I'd be throwing my parts out. What? From 20 to 20? Bruh, that's a party. Like, that's a party. We have this tiny little space in this apartment. It's a 2-bedroom apartment and they're tiny. Now you're telling me I have to serve 20 people that I've never met. You might come from a big family and you're completely comfortable with it, Tammy. But not everybody has grown up like that. And just to think for your partner, consideration is something that just doesn't seem to be in his sphere of just existence when it comes to Tammy. And it's just becoming more and more evident with every episode. Yeah, Zini, guys, this is actually for real a rant. And I don't even know how to get post that. But I'm just shocked by what I'm seeing here. So Tobile then proceeds to say in her diary entry that, Tammy's been very helpful and he's taking charge and he's taking leadership, by helping her to set up for this lunch for the family. I mean, girl, if you like it, I love it. You're happy. Who are we? Tammy's family arrives. So many people. When they were sitting in that apartment, guys, you really saw how many people we were dealing with here. And babangata. There were a lot of people. All those people come in, like all his brothers, and then the men come in first, and then the women come in after. So I think there was Tammy's sister, 2 of his aunts who are married to his uncle, and his mother, who's obviously an older go-go looking person because Tammy's the last of 9 children. So they all come in. Tammy then basically explains it to them from the ground up that, he was lonely in Dubai, joined a TV show called Married at First Sight to find a spouse so that he could not be lonely anymore that other side. His mother, Gogo, is livid and she says we also don't do things like this. She is from Emakaya. Culturally, they have not, they've skipped all the steps. And as far as she knows, like, there's nothing that can be done like this. She hasn't even come ko charting, the money for Lobola was not patterned for on this side. Yeah, Nyandeni. She's just not for this. And she's just like culturally, at the end of the day, you guys might have signed, but culturally, you haven't done anything. Then mommy makes the comment that, if Tammy were to die, she wouldn't even bury him and probably wouldn't be able to bury him if there actually is a marriage certificate. Wouldn't be able to bury him. And makes the statement that, this new wife is going to take everything and I wouldn't be able to do anything. And then that's where we find out in the diary session that Tammy has printed a card for his bank account with his mother. So essentially, he shares his bank account with his mother. Same person who was telling Zitobile that they should have a joint account, having known her for less than 24 hours. This is what? This is the entanglement, a spider web of Tammy's finances that we know nothing about. And listen, for me, there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking care of your parents. Most people have to, really, at the end of the day. But did Zitobile know that? Have you even disclosed that to her? Does she know? Did she know? Would you have? Let me get off Tammy's ass because today, as I said, Omo, here, here. So that was mommy, like, shared her concerns with all of this. And then the aunt, love the aunt. One of Tammy's aunts, because both the aunts are married to the same uncle. So one of the aunts was like, she was so worried because they didn't know if Tammy was marrying an Indian woman or a white woman or a man. And then Zitobile's face was the only one that moved. All the other family members, straight face when a man was mentioned, which is signs to me that this is not the first time that they have had that type of conversation or discussion around who exactly is Tammy with and what's happening in Tammy's love life. And I'm still gonna stick to my guns that I'm not getting in there about Tammy's sexuality. I get again. It's for him. But Sitobile, all I can tell you is that you are seeing what you're seeing and you're hearing what we're all hearing. So it's up to you, my dear, to do with that information what you will. Tammy's mother then also speaks about, how all the haters, in their village kept on telling her that Utami was married to a man this whole time. And, it was stressing her out so much. And she even lost weight. Guys. But now that she sees that, there's a proper Makuti who's here in the picture, as the auntie called her what? Ispacha. Ispacha. Guys, what is Ispacha? It was the first time I was hearing that term. Ispacha. Now that Zitobile is the spacha of the spachas, the aunt was telling her that, listen, we're old, so we're happy that there's, some young blood that's here to take care of us. And Tobile in her diary entry was like, listen, I hope these people are gonna baton soft because manual labor is not something that I am familiar with, particularly in the rurals. And she's not trying to be about that life. I don't know if she's going to get that, but I suppose we'll see as the show goes on. The family had bought her this beautiful red dress, Bamu Apesa, Liduku. She looked very nice and she was smiling and seeming very happy while she was serving all of them the food. Tammy's brothers had said that yes, things have been done in reverse. He married her first, we'll do Lobola after the fact. We're going to see, but this is it's a minefield. It's just a mess. Woo! It's a mess. Even Gogo's parting words in her diary, she was talking about, Tammy una le pelo e nyane. He's very short tempered. and he sulks. And essentially, she said, quote unquote, Zitobile is going to have to begezela. Guys, when this man's own mother, the person who loves him the most in the whole wide world, is telling you that you need to prepare yourself to begezela, my dear, all the poppers that are going to be dancing here. O sa tlo di bona, my dear. O sa tlo di bona. When mommy says begezela, mommy, the biggest lover of her child. Guys, no, this girl, hey, this girl. I continue to say all of this backs up my statement and theory that this particular coupling is a setup. It's a setup. It's a scheme that Todd came with to come with the bullshit. Setup and a scheme. And my only hope in my heart of hearts is that I think Tammy is well aware of the television that he is making and that he is here to entertain. My only hope and wish is that I hope Zitobile also is on that same wavelength and is clear that we are making entertainment here for TV. Because if she is really all up in this with her emotions in her heart and her soul and her mind, babes, let's just have that medical aid lined up for some therapy, intensive therapy, because that's not what we're getting on this show. Speaking of intensive therapy, Dee and Kuzo go and meet with Anele, the psychologist, who was dressed very nice, by the way, in a red suit. And the therapy session started off well. He asked Kuto if he was ready for an independent woman like Dee, based on the way that she was sitting and the positioning of, her sitting closest to him, to the therapist, then Kuto. And Kuto was like, no, I ground her. And Ella was like, great, that's very profound. What does that grounding look like? We started off really great in the therapy session, and I was like, yes, we are going to get somewhere. By the end of that scene, I was sorely disappointed because the parting words that they were left with is that, Anela says, I can see a lot of love between the two of you. And I love that it's not predictable like other couples. So just keep going, guys. Watch. My prayer and my hope is that that was editing and that your guys actually had a real therapy session. Because at this point, these therapists are feeling like they are advisors and that we just bring them to step in when tempers have flared. And we're just bringing them in for damage control to just sort of patch, but we patch on the surface. We don't go underneath. We don't try to find root causes. We don't try to hold people accountable for any of their behaviors. And we don't particularly find resolution to any of the issues. We just unpack it at a very surface level. And then we say, you guys are great. Keep going. Am I asking for too? Maybe I'm asking for too much. Am I asking for too? Guys, please let me know if I really am asking for too much from these experts. But hey, it's just this is not what I wanted. And because I know Anil is a very good psychologist. He's a very good clinical psychologist. I watched some of his sessions when he was doing who's that show? It's Kelly Kumalo's show, and Kelly and the mother were going for therapy. He was very good there, very effective. But what we're seeing now is just oh, you got a boo boo. Sorry, let's kiss it and make it better and put a plaster on. And I know Anela's got the chops, guys. He's got the chops. But what are they showing us on this show? Where are the learning moments? This is where we should be learning in these therapy sessions, For all of us who can't, guys, therapy's expensive, okay? Not everybody can afford to be going to therapy. So this is where we should be getting to show people that, like, these are the questions you should be asking yourself. These are the insights that we're trying to gain from therapy. These are the tools that people can use in understanding themselves and understanding the other person, and not just picking up all this, terminology and the new fads of the day and just using all of these words from therapy and trying to sound like they know what they're talking about and that they know themselves. Because, case in point, here is D. Going to therapy, you use all the language, my dear. You do. You do. And I'm not saying that the therapy that she has done has not been effective, because I don't know where she comes from. And all I am seeing is what they are showing us on this camera. But it is evident from the way that she has these intense emotional reactions to situations that, my dear, there is a lot that you still have to unpack about yourself, with yourself, in the container of a clinical psychologist. There's a lot with regard to your parents and your relationship and your childhood. There's a lot with regard to your co-parents, Simpiwe, what happened in the relationship, what happened post that relationship. Like, you are a minefield emotionally, a minefield. And based on what I saw from what's coming for next episode, like, more explosions are about to happen. Good Lord, guys, this was a rant, all the way straight up rant. Let me just get off that scene. The last one I'm going to talk about is just Tabang was hanging out with the boys, and telling all of his friends, excuse me, that he's now married, telling them about their issues, that, Makumo's schedule. Oh, we found out she works at the airport. So I think things are starting to make sense around her schedule and why things are so crazy. He tells them about that. He tells them about how she was dragging him during the people at the fights that they had in Hartis. And listen, I think part of it, yes, was set up by production on some put it all out there because we need to talk about the issues that you and Makoma are having in a space where we can put everything on a platter. But I think looking at the age group of the friends, age group both physically in the face and just emotionally through what they were saying, these are not the people that I think he can actually get constructive relationship advice from. Because the main thing that most of them wanted to know is, did you bang, bruh? Did you bang? Was it good? I mean, the one friend even said, impundu injani. Guys, let me just get off. Let's call it a day with this episode. I'm calling it a day. I can't. The tea that's supposed to be calming me. Nkarian Reva. Yeah. Hi, guys. I don't know what we learned and what we took out of that episode. But let me know down in the comments where your mind is at, what you're seeing. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to share this. And I will see you at the review for the next episode. And please remember to spread love, not hate, although what I was spewing here, but the kids, guys, when it comes to the kid, we've got to protect the children first and foremost. But yeah, spread love, not hate. And I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. Ciao. From your Radi.